Welcome everybody, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another exciting review here on the channel. Today we're taking a look at a pair of Rapido GP40s, their first ever GP40 model. I have an Illinois Central Death Star Operation Lifesaver scheme and a Canadian National X Illinois Central unit as well to take a look at. These have LokSound 5 DCC Sound and Rapido's MoPower capacitors. Before we get into the review, do me a favor and subscribe if you're new or if you find yourself coming back anyways. It does help me make a few dollars, so I really appreciate it. Like the video if you enjoyed as well, and drop me a comment if you have any questions about these units. We'll do my best to answer them. And if you're considering picking up any of these yourself, or if you already have, or if you just want to chat, love talking with everybody. But let's go ahead and get started. For our unboxing, we'll be taking a look at the Illinois Central unit first, as that's my personal favorite of the two, and I've already seen some reviews of the CN unit as well. We'll start off with a quick look at the rest of the box art. On the front here is the actual Illinois Central / CN XIC unit. We have the two different versions in this run as well with different dynamic brake configurations on the sides. On the back, all we've got is a blank white background with the DCC Sound logo there. Inside the box, we've got some new stickers. I'll keep some of those hidden for your surprise as well. We have a dual-sided operator's manual in both French and English. Here's a quick look at the DCC Sound functions, just for reference, that we'll take a look at as well later in this video. We have a small piece of foam on top that are models in this very nice foam packaging. Slide that out just like so. We have two additional foam blocks on the side. I'll just move out of the way quickly. Inside, the secret pocket, as I like to call it, on the IC unit, this one in particular, has an AC unit, a front plow, re-rail frogs, and drop steps. On my CN XIC unit, the bag only includes drop steps and re-rail frogs, as the AC unit and plow are already installed. From this point, all we have is the standard blister packaging. Might open up just like so already. Soft plastic on the top. Our truck immobilizers are built into the plastic clamshell. And I'll go ahead and grab the handrail foam out of it off camera, as it's pretty tight in the model. And with the handrail foam finally removed, here is a quick 360. A little bit of model history. These were originally announced by Rapido in August of 2023 and just delivered this month in August of 2025. Both of mine were purchased from Lombard Hobbies at $300 each on pre-order, so I'm glad I did, as they sold out or are selling out pretty quickly at these row numbers. Let's put 3103 on the table as well, and we can take a look at both of the details together. And here is a quick 360 of CN 3103, still sublettered for IC on the cab sides. I did a similar thing with the Rapido GP38s, where I purchased a BN and a BNSF version, so although they're not exactly the same eras together, it does look nice in a consist both together. Moving on to the front of these units, you'll see the CN unit has many of the same features as it is basically an IC modernized unit. We have high-mounted headlights and lit number boards on both units, more grab irons on the side of the nose, as well as blanked over class lights on both units. Both have a walkway light in the center. It is a two-piece lens design, but the same light. We also have Rapido's brand of metal couplers, low-mounted ditch lights, and a plow on the CN unit. Remember, that's included in the IC's bag. Our MU cables and train line hoses are silver tipped on the end and don't like to stay together, as you see here. We have nice white markings on both units, so say always be careful by the ditch lights and watch your step by the steps. All of the handrails on these units are metal. My IC one just in front of the engineer's side here is a little bit bent. I didn't want to do too much messing just for the purposes of this review. And we have a few missing paint spots on the uncoupling lever on my IC unit, so I might need to do a little dab of paint on that as well. Unfortunately, I do have a little bit of an issue with the ditch lights. One of them will immediately shut off and the other one dims. It is different on both of the units. I'll demonstrate that in the DCC Sound demo portion of the review. Just want to call that out as well. I have reached out to Rapido, haven't heard back quite yet, but I'll go ahead and update or maybe post another video on the fix, whether it is a hardwired issue or something with the program. Starting off with the IC unit on the side, you'll see some very nice printing on the model, including the Operation Lifesaver logo in the back, not in focus just at this time. Our speed recorder is on this front axle here. We have nice white paint across the steps, and a spare knuckle is housed on top of the fuel tank right here, which I think is a very nice detail to add. The air reservoir just above the fuel tank on the side here as well. Metal handrails all the way down. We don't have a walkway light like the scaletrains versions had, but they didn't do the Illinois Central and CN units. Here's a quick look at the rear of this unit. You can see the roof as well. We have Cannon & Company licensed fans with separately applied metal grates over them. And in the center, the unique to IC units with the hatch doors instead of dynamic brakes in that spot there, and our bells mounted on the side as well. Now for the CN unit, you can better see the handbrake detail in the door and all of this yellow marking instead of the white sill on the IC unit. I have a small paint chip on my sunshade, unfortunately, on this side. Our AC unit is already installed on this road number. Some of the other ones, I believe 3123 in this run, has the AC unit in the poly bag as well. Ice skate antenna is just in front of that, and our horn has been relocated near the hatch doors there in the center. Website logo scheme with 2 more warning labels on both sides. Everything looks good over here. We still have that spare knuckle holder above the fuel tank as well, and the metal handrails all the way down the unit. And on to the rear of the units, everything is exactly the same feature-wise, except for, of course, the paint differences. Grab irons running all the way up to the top of the engine, ditch lights on the rear as well as more metal handrails, metal coupler and MU hoses, and a single spare knuckle on both sides here. Our steps on both units are see-through all the way going up as well. Very nice feature to always have on these locomotives. And the number boards, of course, are lit with a walkway light in the center of both as well, with the drop steps being able to be placed right here. Onto the engineer side of 3101, very similar levels of detail as the other side, with the spare knuckle here above the fuel tank on this side, and just some additional warning labels on all parts of the side of the locomotive. Otherwise, very black and white paint scheme here. Love that Illinois Central underneath the cab as well. You can also see our horn is mounted up at the front here with the ice skate antenna that is a little bit bent for me as well. Didn't want to play too much with it for the review purposes, just a small thing to fix up. And now on to the side of 3103. Once again, just a few label differences on this side. Only issue on this one is it seems there's maybe a little bit of an extra glue spot around this stanchion there, so I might need to clean that up as well. Other than that, looks very good. I'll give you a quick close-up on some of the labels on this model. There's the F for front, as well as some of the underbody details. Lots of piping and traction motor details here in this model. There are no rotating bearing caps, as all of them are covered. There's a good look through the steps as well. Here is just a higher altitude shot of a roof comparison as well. You got the horn differences and AC unit on the CN unit. We also have a grab iron here in the rear that loops around behind the fans. And once again, all of the hatch details where the dynamic brakes might be. That entire section does come off on the model, so be careful not to pick up the model from the top, as that will just pop off. Easy to put back on, just a heads up for you as well. But let's go ahead now and take a look at all the DCC and sound functions on these locomotives. And welcome on over to the Flex Track Test Track, as I'm calling it for now. Here is a quick reminder of the DCC and sound functions that we'll be taking a look at in just a moment here, just for reference for you. I would like to start though by showing you the ditch light issue that I talked about earlier. You'll see none of the lights are on when the track power is off. If we go ahead and turn the track power on, you'll see we have number boards and the walkway and ground lights come on. I know it's a bit hard to see here in the light, but I'll turn off the lights later so we can take a look. However, let me go ahead and turn on the ditch lights on 3101 with function 6. You'll see they both come on nicely, but if I toggle them off, the conductor side dims immediately and then the engineer side dims nicely afterwards. So I'll show you that once more on 3101. But if I move to 3103, I go ahead and turn the ditch lights on. See, they come on nicely, but the opposite problem happens when I turn off those ditch lights. The engineer side dims immediately and the conductor side dims nicely just afterwards. So I have reached out to Rapido to see what the issue might be with this, if it's a programming issue or maybe a wiring issue. I think it's kind of odd that it's different between these two units, and I've seen other people online have the same issue with the ditch lights, so I'm hoping it might just be a programming issue that I'll be able to change without having to send it in. But I'll update you if I hear back, maybe in a separate video or something of the sort. In any case, I'll go ahead and start at the locomotive here with function 8. All of the sounds and functions from here forwards are exactly the same between these two units. They will differ on different models in this series that's not IC or CN. Here's function 8 to start up the prime mover. you'll hear the spitters coming on, as well as the air compressor from time to time. Function 0 turns on a front headlight. Function 1 is the bell. Function 2 is the horn. And both of those will be on as long as you hold that function down. Function 3 is our coupler clank. 2 different sounds for engaging and disengaging. Function 4 is our dynamic brake, and although these models don't have them prototypically, the sound file is still in there, so you can still activate them on these units. Not a big deal, I'll show you when it's running, as well as function 5, the flame squeal. Function 6 are our ditch lights, they're directional. Turn those on here. Function 7 is our gyro light, not on these locomotives in particular. Function 9 is our drive hold, so you can turn that on and ramp up and down your prime mover without changing your speed. Function 10 is the independent brake, which just has a function when being toggled off. Function 11 is our white class lights, which we don't have on these locomotives. Function 12, it dims the headlights, so you'll see the front headlight come down and the ditch lights turn off. Bring that back up. Function 13 is our switching mode, so same thing from the front, it looks like, as function 12, but this also turns on the rear headlight and not the rear ditch lights. You can bring that back up. Function 14 is our beacon or UDE light, not on these units. Function 15 is our strata light, also not on these units. Function 16 and 17 don't have a sound or function by default on these locomotives. Function 18 is labeled as the walkway light, but this will also turn off the control stand lights and the ground lights as well in these units. I'll show you the control stand lights when we get movement also. Very nice feature on them. You can bring that back up, and function 19 will turn off your number board lights. I know it is a little bit hard to see, but that is an option for you as well. Function 20 is the air compressor, so that will be toggled on as long as that function is down, so I'll do that now. And function 21 will turn off those spitters by default. You hear it coming on. Now it's nice and silent. When I release function 21, we have a let off, and then the spitters will kick back in. Function 22 is our cab door. Two different sounds for that. There is just a little bit of a delay. Functions 23 through 25 are Easter eggs, so I'll just let you know before I play them. I will play them here unless they get copyright striked. I might have to cut this as well. But let's go ahead and check those ones out. So final spoiler warning, here is function 23.
I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer. I'm a doctor, not a zookeeper. I'm a doctor, not a commando. I'm a doctor, not an escalator. Spock, give me a hand.
Here's function 24.
Absolutely the limit. I can't stand to see our enemy's flag in the ring. That's why I'm carrying the red, white, and blue, brother. I'm proud of America. I stand for this country. And I'm going to promise you one thing. When this fight is over tonight, there's only going to be one flag standing. That's the Stars and Stripes forever.
Fun sound to have on Canadian models. Function 25 is next.
Yeah, light sure tastes great. Let's do it. Tastes great.
Function 26 and 27 will notch us up and down, so I'll go ahead and notch us up to notch 8 and notch us right back down. So that was function 26 and 27. Function 28 is our manual notching logic. You can use that with it toggled on to just press function 26 and it will notch all the way up to 8, and then press 27 and it will notch all the way back down, or coast. With function 28 off, you can manually control the notching up and down like I just did there. And two final functions that I do not have space for on my throttle unless I reprogram. Function 29 are the radiator fans, which are on by default. Toggling that on would turn them off. And function 30 will turn off the short air let off. But that's all the functions in this list here. Let's go ahead and get this locomotive moving. So let's go ahead and get 3101 on the move. Something very nice about the capacitors in this model, which I'll demonstrate in a second as well. I was able to pick the locomotive up and place it in the opposite direction on the track without losing any of the functions or sounds. Reminder, the speed table is on by default on these locomotives. It has a fairly limited top speed, as these units are mostly for yard power and some slower speed trains on the main line. So I'll go ahead and bring us to speed step 1. We have a bit of momentum and we are quite jerky. I'm going to go ahead and notch us up in speed steps until we hit speed step 7, where it finally smooths out. And we'll also notch up into prime mover territory. At this point, speed step 7, nice and smooth. I'll let you look into the cab there and see the lit control stands. There are chairs and a full cab interior as well. Looks very nice. Our next notch up happens at speed step 15, which I'll increase up to slowly. And go ahead and bring us back down. I'll go ahead and flip to reverse. No sound for the Johnson bar on this one. And quickly to demonstrate, if I turn off the function for the ditch lights, function 6, our rear ditch lights dim nicely, so it's only the front ones that have the issue. And function 13, you'll see we have a dim rear headlight and the front headlight will come on in this case as well. Go ahead and bring us in reverse at speed step 7 as well. It's jerky in reverse until this speed step 2. Here's 5 for the flange squeal as I increase the throttle a little bit. I'll go ahead and toggle on the dynamic brakes too, even though this unit doesn't have them. And I'll take us back down. So again, you can mimic real dynamic brakes on this unit, even though it doesn't have it. That's just something for your choice. It will sound like that on the other locomotives in this run as well. Next up, I'll go ahead and turn off the locomotive, turning off function 8, and demonstrate the capacitors as well. So I'll go ahead and turn off 8 right now. If I take the model off the tracks, I have the lighting package still on, so you can see how long the capacitors last here for you. So a good few seconds, not quite as insane as the Class 1 ModelWorks caboose recently, but about on the same level as most other locomotives. I have gone ahead and dimmed the lights just a little bit so you can see what all the lights look like on this model. I'll go ahead and turn the track power on here on 3103. And see we get the number boards, walkway lights, and the ground lights you just might be able to see right here shining as well. Here are the control stand lights in a little bit more detail as well, right in through the cab there. and of course our front ditch lights and front headlight. You can see just a bit of reflection there on the ground. I'll go ahead and swivel over here to the back as well so you can see what that looks like if I go ahead and switch us into reverse. See that lighting package as well. I do hope you enjoyed that quick demo in my fairly limited capabilities for now. Other performance things to note: all the wheels were engaged according to my wheel gauge. Coupler heights look good compared to my other locomotives. Pulled out a Rapido GP38 as well, and the weight is very similar to that model. Overall, if you already have a Rapido GP38, these models are very similar in terms of the level of details. They both have those lit control stands, which not many other manufacturers are doing. Print quality, amazing on these models. Just a few small imperfections, like I mentioned, that I need to clean up and look into what's up with those front ditch lights. So waiting to work with Rapido on that. We'll see what's going on with those units. I've wanted an IC unit for quite a while. I do still eventually want a pair of SD70 Death Stars with the white sill, not the athearn legendary liveries that came out in their most recent run. So hanging around, maybe another manufacturer will do them eventually as well, so we'll see what's out there. A quick reminder, both of these models came in at $300 from Lombard Hobbies. Prices will vary a little bit online, so go ahead, shop around for your best deal or check out your local hobby shop. Overall, would definitely recommend these models if you're able to grab one or two, or maybe a whole bunch, depending on your budget, of course. There's a good variety of paint schemes as well in this run. I am considering grabbing a Wisconsin Central down the line in a few months if I'm able to, and if they're still in stock. But overall, big fans of these models. Scaletrains has more GP40s coming out as well. Their first run of GP40s, I grabbed a Milwaukee Road version. I think these Rapido ones, if they did the same scheme, would be just that little step ahead as well. So just something to keep in mind. Scaletrains also has another run of GP40s scheduled to arrive in the February of 2026 and currently still open for pre-orders as of this recording. And of course, Atlas and Athearn have done tons of GP40s in different configurations for many years, so there's a lot of options out there in the market for you. Class 1 Modelworks also may be releasing a GP40 eventually as well, so even more in the market for you. And with that, I'll go ahead and end off this review. Please consider subscribing if you did make it this far. It is completely free and helps me to make a few dollars, so I do appreciate it. Like the video if you enjoyed as well, and drop me a comment if you have any questions, of course, or if you just want to chat. Love talking with everybody. But thanks again, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.